Hello and welcome to your reading. So I am Urban Panda Tarot, and this reading is going to be general advice that you need to hear right now. So we have 3 piles that you can select, and each pile has a corresponding color palette. So we have pile number 1, and pile number 1 has the I am a dreamer affirmation, as well as the green, yellow, and red color palette. Pile number 2 has the I am fearless affirmation with the gold, indigo, and sienna color palette. And then we have I am sacred as pile 3's affirmation with the green, turquoise, and red color palette. So, please take your time and select whichever pile calls to you. Now, if you feel drawn to more than one pile, then you may have more than one message. And while you make your selection, I am going to clear space for pile number 1, and we're going to start each reading with a painting. All right. So, pile number 1. You have the red, yellow, and green color palette. Now, the first thing that I thought of when I saw these colors was a traffic light. I live in the US and the color for go is green, but I know in other countries it can be blue. But we're going to start with your painting. You may also have noticed that your affirmation is one of the more colorful cards. So we're going to start by getting some water on our big brush. And we're just going to get our canvas, which is this beautiful sketchbook, very wet and ready for those watercolors to flow. Alright, while that soaks in, we're going to give these colors some time to soak up that water. And we're looking for symbols, perhaps color combinations, or just how it flows. And this is general advice that you need to hear right now. Alright. So, with this one, I really want to stick to working down the line first. And we'll just start with this green. Immediately, I'm seeing like new growth, fresh grass, perhaps springtime is something you're looking forward to. If you're watching this when it goes up, it's winter time in the northern hemisphere. And we've got some growth energy there. Immediately, the way this green went down makes me think of flowers. I think springtime is a very important part of your reading. It's beautiful. So, key themes of renewal and rebirth. We also have this red here. Red can be a very powerful color, overtaking. But also, when it mixes with the yellow, I'm instantly reminded of tulips. So perhaps tulips themselves hold significance for you, or also I believe it's the Netherlands, where tulips are quite significant. Interesting. Some of the colors start to get a bit muddy there, which I think, yeah, the message here is while you're having all of this rapid, beautiful, I almost want to say explosive growth, it'll be important for you to remember to stay grounded, and that may be a bit difficult for you. It almost feels like it's going to be a bit of an afterthought, almost like we're playing catch up there, trying to get back down to earth, perhaps. It's almost sort of runaway chariot vibes. Perhaps you're trying to get hands on the wheel again. Overall, just very quick, beautiful, sudden growth for you, pile number 1. That's what I'm seeing. Alright, we are going to set your colors and your painting aside so that this can dry. And one beautiful thing with watercolors is that these colors can move and shift while the painting dries. So if your eyes are drawn to it during the reading and you notice perhaps symbols or images or shifts in this painting, feel free to refer to those. Alright. So you have your painting, your affirmation card. Now I'm going to shuffle your cards. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot. It seems like you have some serious messages coming in. My dog just started sort of those little woofs before the big bark starts at the window. I just noticed that these kind of look like, they're starting to look like hearts, or perhaps almost angels or people with open arms. Perhaps those are symbols for you. Yeah, you just got the 2 of Wands, and in this deck this really looks like a road heading out into the distance to me. Moving forward, that is your energy, pile number 1, very much so. Alright, let's give this one more shuffle, then start pulling some cards. Alright, what advice does pile number 1 need to hear right now? You're getting cards directly from the bottom of the deck, and they just keep coming. Okay, let's start there. There we go. Interesting. Hierophant, and that's the 5 of Swords in reverse. 2 of Swords. Interesting. These all are almost mirroring path energies. Some of these want to flip when I pull them out. It's very interesting. All right. So let's see if we can piece this together. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing is absolutely that you're on a new path. And it feels like almost you may be restarting something or taking a different approach to something you've tried before. Because here you can see this Hierophant, which is, you know, sort of traditions and learning, and it feels like it's giving a warning. It's screeching at this new path, and it's reminding you of this difficult path where things went wrong. And that's where we get so many of these reversals. It's both in the past and your fear. You're worried that it's going to lead to pain, that it's going to be much more difficult than you anticipate. There's this Justice in reverse and King of Cups in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse. There's a lot of worry on this path. Just sort of expanding out behind this crow like a giant shadow. Fascinating. It feels like this fear is based in reality, but that reality is also past. Some of these things absolutely did happen. This injustice, this pain, this struggle, they're all there. But they're not in your future. There's this very much, there's this fresh start. And you have all of this information about the path behind you. And you're worried that this path in front of you is going to be the same, because it feels really like this card stands alone. This is a big unknown. It's very difficult to grasp what's going to happen. It almost ties back to this I Am a Dreamer card. It's all very uncertain. It's hard to see. You can't tell what's going to happen. And that uncertainty is causing you to create this giant shadow. But these swords are crossed. It's the eclipse. You have the world. This is done. Pile number 1. Your past does not write your future. You do. And the only way to write your future is to live it. There's very much you won't know until you get there energy. I was talking to a friend a few days ago, and we were discussing the journey will show you the path. You won't know which way is the right way, how this path is going to end up, until you're already walking on it. And I know that can be terrifying. But pile number 1, look at this beautiful card. You have this path, and it goes from dark to light in the whole rainbow. This feels like you have a whole life ahead of you, pile number 1. A whole beautiful life bursting with energy and joy and love and color and passion and growth. It's time to leave the shadow behind, pile number 1. This is over. It's done. It's time to start your new path. Leave the past in the past and start walking. Wow, alright. It's beautiful, pile number 1. Let's keep this path here, just as a little bit of a reminder of where we're going on this beautiful new adventure. And I'm going to pull you just a few self-care cards that will help you on your way. Things to keep in mind while you're going. All right. You have Ritual, Pamper, and I feel like one more. Again, from the back of the deck, pile number 1, Nature. I'm just going to put that there as well. Meditate. You have Meditate and I Am a Dreamer. That's very interesting. Your subconscious could be big for you. What you have in your dreams or your intuition. There's absolutely follow your dreams, follow your inner voice energy here. You also have Ritual. Perhaps you are also a tarot reader, or perhaps you enjoy reading for yourself. You have Pamper. Take beautiful care of your beautiful self, pile number 1. Truly. And then you have Nature. This again harkens back to this growth energy in springtime. I truly, perhaps this Ritual in Nature, perhaps you want to celebrate the equinox, I believe is the next one coming up, and really just enjoy this rebirth energy that is coming into your life. It's absolutely time for a rebirth for you. But it's almost like normally when we see rebirth, it's this fiery phoenix from the ashes sort of rebirth. And I suppose we have some of that fire energy here. But it almost feels like the fire part of the rebirth is already over. Now this feels like the much more gentle rebuilding. This is the baby phoenix being born and growing and expanding into this new life. Also, another message is coming through. Remember to get some rest, pile number 1. Perhaps you're like me and you're a bit of a night owl. But remember, take care of your beautiful self. 8 hours is a great place to start. Let's see if any new messages have come through while your paint is drying. These really look like hearts now that I'm seeing. This one almost looks like a butterfly. Again, that rebirth energy. It looks like some of the colors in the earth separated a little bit. You can see there's little patches of this green, almost looks blue, and this red and this yellow. I think, yeah, when you have this massive growth, it will be sustainable. The next flowers, the next sparks of inspiration are already in the ground, starting to come through while these flowers are blooming. Pile number 1, if you're worried that it won't last, don't be. There is long-term growth. There are so many flowers in this soil, and they will keep coming and keep growing. This is truly a whole life ahead of you, pile number 1. Wow. Okay. Pile number 1, that is your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it, and just take beautiful care of yourself, pile number 1. Alright. If you like this reading, please consider giving this video a like, commenting if you feel called to do so. I would love to see your thoughts and see what resonated with you. I'd also love to know what this growth is. It's so rapid and beautiful. It's last thing, pile number 1. Have you ever seen crocuses in springtime? I used to live up north, and truly it would be like there was snow on the ground, and it started to get a little warmer after a long winter, and the snow would melt just enough to where you could see the ground, and it would look like there's nothing there. And then the first day you'd see the ground with nothing there, and then you'd go outside the next morning and there would be these beautiful flowers in so many different colors, and it was always my favorite thing to see them. And they always grew like at the base of trees as well. But really, truly, it's this overnight change. Perhaps, like I said, this is something, it seems like you've tried something. Split the deck and there's flowers for you. Pile number 1. Okay. Perhaps this is something you've tried before. And really, the actual change that needs to happen is a heart change, or perhaps a mindset change. This truly feels like you're going to wake up one day and just do it, and your new life will start. It's amazing, pile number 1. Wow. Okay, and now I promise I'm actually done. Alright, pile number 1, that's it. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful night wherever you are. Make sure to get some rest and enjoy your life. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. So if you chose the I am fearless affirmation, as well as the gold, indigo, and sienna color palette, then this is your reading. So to start, we are actually going to make a watercolor painting for you. So we're going to bring in our beautiful sketchbook and start by dampening the pages, or the page to be specific. Since I said pages, perhaps you also felt called to pile number 1. If you did, it may be worth checking. If not, then please feel free to stay here with me. So we're going to start by putting some water on these watercolors, especially the gold. Needs a minute to get activated, and perhaps that's a message in itself. Perhaps you're trying to build abundance, and it's certainly there and beautiful, but it will take some time. So actually, I think we're going to start with this indigo. Oh, I stand corrected. This one's black. And my dog just started growling. Pile number 2. Perhaps you are going through something difficult right now, or need some protection. Oh, okay. I'm seeing... Pile number 2, please know that I am not a licensed counselor or a physician, but I'm seeing a lot of pain and grief here. If that is the case for you and you are able, I would encourage you to reach out either to a professional or someone you care about quite deeply. Again, I'm not able to offer medical advice of any kind, but pile number 2, talk to someone, truly. You seem to be going through quite a bit right now. Perhaps it's manifesting as migraines, but also this spreading blackness, especially when I originally thought this color was indigo. Could be similar to depression or anxiety. Let's see what else you have, pile number 2. Okay. Yes. Okay, pile number 2. Talking to someone I truly believe will help you. It may not. This blackness, this pain, it may not go away rapidly or quickly, but you don't need to carry it alone. Pile number 2. Alright, let's see. Let's see where this gold goes for you. I just want to give you a hug, pile number 2. Truly. Let's see. Alright. Perhaps I've been through pain similar to this myself, and I realize it may not feel helpful to hear this at the moment. But if you've ever heard of the Japanese practice of kintsugi, mending broken things with gold, and kintsugi pieces of pottery actually become more valuable after they've been broken, not only because of the gold in the cracks, but they're believed to be more beautiful. One thing I am seeing is that this darkness, this pain is, I'm almost seeing a face here. So here's the top of the head. It's almost like a cloak or a hoodie. Here's your throat and your heart. Perhaps that's a piece of advice for you, pile number 2, is to bundle up in something cozy. That may help you. But also I'm seeing that a lot of this pain and darkness is focused around what would be the top of your head. And as it gets further, it sort of fades and feathers out and gets softer. So it gets better, pile number 2. I've been where you are, and I know that it does not feel like it, but it does get better. You will have handholds, things to hold on to. These gold lines will help you climb out of wherever you are. That being said, again, talking to someone you trust, either a professional or a loved one, or even the stars. You can go outside if you're able and just talk to the moon, talk to the stars, tell them everything that's going on, tell them what you're feeling, what you want to feel. You have a beautiful voice, pile 2. And I think it will be very healing for you to use that, even if it's just talking to the moon. Alright, pile number 2, I'm going to place your painting over to the side. And as watercolor dries, the colors can shift and move. So you may want to, if your eyes are drawn to it, look at the painting throughout your reading and see if any shapes appear that may be further messages for you. I'm going to move the colors to the side, and let's get into your reading. We have this I Am Fearless card. You truly are a warrior, pile number 2. It feels like, for some of you, that may not be comforting to hear. You're like, of course, I know that I'm strong, I know that I'm a survivor. And it's not comforting, because you have been all your life, it feels like. Interesting. What is some advice for pile number 2? Okay. Wow. Okay. Like this? Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's get a few more for you. Okay. I see. The holidays may have been very difficult for you, pile number 2. Here we have the Four of Wands, which is normally a card of joy and celebration, home and stability. And it's sideways as a clarifier for this upside down Daughter of Swords and upside down, or pardon me, reversed High Priestess. This is, perhaps you have a very difficult relationship with your mother. And this season has truly been, yeah. You also have the Daughter of Pentacles reversed, Daughter of Swords reversed. You have this Two of Pentacles, the Butterfly reversed. Interesting. I think we'll figure out what that one means later. But you have, these belong in a group, yeah. Being completely honest with you, pile number 2, the holidays have been absolutely brutal for you. Moving forward, you have the Six of Pentacles and the Magician. And the Five of Cups reversed and Mother of Pentacles. And then I believe the Death is following this cycle. Perhaps you've been saying that this holiday season is the last time perhaps that you're going home for the holidays, or that you will be setting boundaries, setting strong boundaries with this female figure, perhaps a mother, perhaps it could be a grandmother or an aunt. But I would say a mother or grandmother. For someone out there, it is a grandmother. There's a very strong coming through there, but in that case, she is the matriarch of the family, for whoever that message is for. And the way this relationship is happening, the way it's occurring, that was the end. It very much feels like that was the last straw for you, and you will no longer be accepting this treatment. Pile number 2. And you can see that this was not a comfortable ending. But there's also little shoots of evergreens starting to appear from the skeleton. And that is you, pile number 2. You are picking up the pieces and rebuilding and creating something new. Where you were in this relationship, it's almost like it smothered you. You have this beautiful potential to expand and grow and become this butterfly, but in this environment, it's like it was crushing you, pile number 2. I am so sorry, pile number 2. That is awful. Here we have, this is your future energy, pile number 2. And you have this Five of Cups in reverse. So when it's upright, this is truly mourning energy. it can feel very heavy, very lonely. But for you, this is in reverse, and this is your future, pile number 2. This is truly, you have the Magician. This is, all of the power is in your hands. You're truly taking your life and holding it in the palm of your hand and creating it. Piece by piece, pentacle by pentacle, you are growing and building this new life. You are, perhaps this relationship, you've been mourning it for quite a while, and you're finally moving out of this mourning stage and becoming the Queen of Pentacles yourself. Perhaps some of this, my dog is growling a little bit, but he's also sleeping, so interesting. Growling and sleeping. Perhaps this is generational trauma, even with finances or materials. Perhaps there was some struggle with inheritance, some sort of injustice there. But here I truly see that you are making your own life piece by piece. And truly it's going to be radiant, it's going to be abundant. This is breaking generational curses, generational traumas, and forging your own path. This card corresponds to Aries in the zodiac, and that is the ram. And the ram is this unstoppable force. Unlike Taurus, Aries quickly moves and adapts. It's more of a flowing fire energy than Earth, but it's still this charging forward. There is no longer no looking back. We're done mourning. We are moving forward into a new era. I'm going to, let's see, these cards I believe are the ones that are supposed to stay for the next part of your reading, because truly all of this it's over. You are completely done with it. Pile number 2. I'm hearing very strongly, never again. Alright, what are some self-care cards, some advice that pile number 2 needs to hear right now? Bit stubborn. Perhaps that's a message. As soon as I say it, you get a card. Pile number 2. You need to take care of yourself. I feel like you may have been in survival mode, perhaps for a very long time. And so your definition of self-care at the moment may be making it through the day. Some of these pentacles, some of these little things you're going to be building are small habits that will take you from surviving into truly thriving in your life. And this can be small things like drinking a cup of water in the morning, getting enough sleep. That was another message for pile number 1 as well. That may be confirmation for you. This could be perhaps you're considering starting prepping or something to do with your nutrition. Maybe you're taking some vitamins. This is really teeny tiny, small, little pentacles that will build this rich, abundant, generational wealth, both physically but also emotionally and spiritually. This is feeling safe, this is feeling at peace. And you're going to build that up little by little with these small steps. So for self-care, you have nature, and you have travel. One more card for pile number 2. There we go. Ooh, listen, I love this card. One big self-care for me is just putting on some headphones, cranking that volume up, and just dance, move, perhaps even unload the dishwasher. I actually need to do that. Music is very healing for you, pile number 2. Beautiful. Alright. This one wants to be here for some reason. Interesting. Perhaps feeling called back to here. Perhaps you may want to listen to some self-care podcasts. Or just something cozy, something that makes you feel warm in your heart. We've got this orange and this red. Something that really makes you feel this like happy, cozy feeling. You also have nature. And interesting that it comes out with travel. If you're able, you may want to, especially to the water, if you're able to go to the ocean or a lake, travel to the water, especially, yes, I'm seeing ocean here. And if you're not able at this time to travel, one thing that can help is just going on to YouTube and finding either an ASMR video or a walkthrough POV video of just being on the beach. I think the waves, the sound of the waves will be very healing for you. Also, I'm seeing this Carlsbad there. Perhaps that's the name of some sort of beach, but it reminds me of Carlsbad Caverns. Pile number 2, this is going to be very specific for 1 or 2 of you, but you may be planning a trip to Carlsbad Caverns. I'm seeing your sunglasses here. In July, I believe, they're going to have the sunrise bat flight. Perhaps that's something you're dreaming of, planning of, is going on a trip to Carlsbad Caverns National Park. That's if you're in the US or if you're visiting the US. Alright. So, pile number 2. The advice you need to hear right now truly is these small pentacles, these small acts of self-care, perhaps these habits, are truly going to help you build this abundant life that you deserve. And all of this painful, I'm hearing nastiness that happened over the holiday season. It's like, normally I would say set healthy boundaries, but it feels like they're already there. It's like there's a wall there now. It's over, never again. So now you get to move forward and build this beautiful life. You don't need to do it alone, pile number 2. Talk to someone if you can. Talk to the moon and stars. You are so strong and so loved, and you have this beautiful, abundant, safe life ahead of you that you can build piece by piece. I'm also seeing now that the paint has dried, the gold is standing out more. I hope you can see it shining. These golden streaks have almost transformed into a shield, or perhaps like energy wrapping around you. It feels like you are very protected, pile number 2. Perhaps these are spirit guides, ancestors, God, angels, whatever you believe in, someone is truly wrapping you in protection right now. Wow. Alright, pile number 2, that is all I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Please, one last time, remember to use your voice and talk to someone. I hope that you have a beautiful journey to this abundant life, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye, pile number 2. Hello, pile number 3. So if you chose the I am sacred affirmation, then this is your pile. And your color palette is this green, turquoise, and red. So we are going to start your reading by making a watercolor painting with your palette. And the very first step is going to be getting this paper wet so that those colors can flow beautifully. Going to get a lot of water on there, and then we're also going to put some water on these little pans of watercolor to activate these paints so that we can paint with them and it will flow nicely. You've got a couple little hairs from the brush in your page. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's a new brush, so sometimes they shed. But it feels like there's little, not big things, but like little hitches in your day, little inconveniences that really nag you. And you may be a perfectionist, you may really want things to just be perfect, and there's all of these little things that are really getting under your skin. Alright, let's see what your watercolors want to tell you today. You have your green, it's a very blue, green, emerald, almost a viridian, I believe. Interesting. And then this is your turquoise. This feels like eyes. You may have very beautiful eyes, pile number 3. Or perhaps for some of you, you may be able to see auras or see things like that. Clairvoyant, perhaps. For some reason, I feel like this is the first pile I've had where I feel like it's almost like putting makeup on a face. Perhaps makeup is important to you. Perhaps it's part of your job even. Or perhaps you may be, with these eyes being important and these colors, you may be some sort of artist or designer. What advice does pile 3 need to hear today? Interesting. I'm also seeing the way this red fanned out. It's almost like a betta fish. Perhaps you have one, or perhaps I'm also seeing like a red dress, very frilly. Perhaps you're going to prom or a wedding or some sort of event that requires a formal, almost ball gown. Sorry about that. My neighbors are just coming home for the night, and my dog thinks they are very suspicious, so he was barking at them. But coming back to your reading, ooh, I see it's like a blue stag here. It almost looks like, if you've seen the Harry Potter movies, Harry's Patronus. So perhaps that's a message for some of you. Also seeing this like almost marbling happening here. Reminds me of roots, perhaps marble. Pile number 3, you are a very fancy pile. You have marble and ball gowns. Perhaps some of you are either very fashionable or perhaps are considering becoming fashion designers. You certainly have an eye for it, pile number 3. Alright, I'm going to put your painting to the side. And one thing about watercolors is that the colors can actually move and shift while the painting dries. So if your eyes are drawn towards it during the reading, there may be new messages here for you. Alright, but we are going to start pulling your cards. And you have the affirmation, I am sacred. I'm also seeing perhaps a whale here, a blue whale. Oh, wow. I think that was a bit too early. That's residual energy from pile number 2. Perhaps you were drawn to that. If you were, it may be worth checking out. If not, feel free to stay here with me. Oof, you've got some flippy cards. Alright, let's get this show on the road. Perhaps you're going to see a play or show business or some sort of charity event, pile number 3. I'm hearing very distinctly charity for some of you, especially in perhaps ocean conservation. Yes, okay. What advice does pile number 3 need to hear right now? Alright, oh goodness. Okay, let's get these in order first. So you have the 4 of Swords, the Mother of Swords. You have the 9 of Swords and the Tower. And the Father of Wands reversed. Okay. I'm not. Okay. First and foremost, some clarification on this 9 of Swords and the Tower, please. It's too many. Here you go. Okay, pile number 3. Philanthropy may be important for you, but the first message you're getting is rest. You may be overextending a little bit. And here you have this lamb card, this beautiful lamb with a sun for a third eye. You have a beautiful vision of the future, pile number 3. But also, you need to rest. There may be some... I see. Perhaps you tried something. Perhaps you invested in some sort of philanthropy. Or volunteered, I'm hearing, for some of you. And it did not go well. You wanted to be this Mother of Swords for this charity or this volunteer, but it just fell apart. There was this tower, and it felt like it built up. There were all of these little things that stacked on top of each other, and then it just fell like a house of cards. I'm seeing here this Father of Wands in reverse. There's definitely someone else that helped cause that situation. I'm getting sneaky energy, but also it almost feels, pile number 3, it feels like you threatened the ego of someone with a lot of power, and they did not like that, and they contributed to this falling apart. Someone felt intimidated by you, perhaps your sincerity and honesty, and they just did not like that, pile number 3. Very much so. This is a big fish. Your presence, what you were doing, intimidated a big fish, and perhaps they did this sneakily or little bit by little bit, but they just tore it apart, even from the inside out, I'm hearing. For your current energy, you have this 4 of Cups and Temperance in reverse. I'm feeling right now, pile number 3, you're a bit tapped energy-wise. You're drained, exhausted, I'm hearing. And especially you, pile number 3, you really put a lot of your heart and soul into this, and it just didn't work. And so here you have this 4 of Cups, and it's interesting because you can see all 4 in this image. Normally the 4th cup is in the background where the person who is receiving this cup can't see it, but here it's almost like the beginnings of a new opportunity or a new project are on the horizon for you, but you have your hand just like gently on the rim, but it feels like you don't even want to touch it. You're just disappointed and you don't feel like you're ready. You can see it there, but you just don't feel the promise that you did for this other opportunity that you invested in. Alright, so what is some advice for pile number 3? Okay. Alright, so here you have the Son of Swords. Now, in this previous endeavor, you were represented by the Mother of Swords, and now you're the Son of Swords. So perhaps you're even the head of this organization or this project that fell through. And I see you're starting something new, but you won't be at the very top. You'll perhaps be second in command. You'll still absolutely be one of the movers and shakers, so to speak. But you're starting fresh, you're starting new, and you're starting something, I'm almost hearing something bigger. Perhaps you're starting something that needs more people, more support. The good news is, for this new project, we have the 3 of Swords in, yes, 3 of Swords in reverse. Yeah. There was definitely some backstabbing in this old endeavor. The good news is you're walking into a much healthier environment where there's collaboration, there's working together. You also have the Emperor in reverse, which is very interesting. But to me it more looks like a network of roots. I think this may even be, and this can get complicated on occasion, but it feels like this new project you're working on almost doesn't have a hierarchy. It feels like there was a very strict hierarchy of power in your old project, and this new one really feels like everyone is a root or a branch on the tree. There is no one single figurehead. It's everyone working together, and I think that will be very healthy and a very healing experience for you, pile number 3. Instead of carrying this whole weight around your shoulders, and then when it falls apart, it feels like it just crumbles on you. This will be much more stable, but also much more free-form project or experience for you. So, I'm feeling like we're not done with this deck. What else does pile number 3 need to know about this situation? Or what other advice do they need to know right now? Okay, so the last piece is here. You have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Now this card usually symbolizes being left out in the cold, being a beggar out in the winter, being desperate for help and not receiving any. And because this card is in reverse, that is an excellent sign that what you're starting now, I'm hearing, for some of you, you're volunteering at a homeless shelter and you're actually giving people food and blankets and warmth to keep them from this 5 of Pentacles energy, and really giving them warmth and safety and life and care. But I'm also hearing for others of you, this new endeavor that you're attempting, there will be funds, there will be supporters. You felt like you were left out in the cold when this collapsed, and that will not happen here. And then finally, you have 3 of Wands upright as your final card. And it's pile number 3. You are truly building something beautiful, building something that supports life. You could also be sort of a patron of the arts. You're building something stable and beautiful, pile number 3. Wow. All right. So let's get just a few self-care cards for you. Pile number 3. This truly was a disappointment for you, but it feels like in general in the rest of your life, I feel like saying you're on top of the world. You are, wow. You have your stuff together, pile number 3. It's impressive. All right. Let's see. This card needs to stay for these cards, but I feel like everything else is sort of, you've heard what you need to hear. You are go-getters, pile number 3. I like your energy. Okay, pile number 3. What are some self-care prompts that will help you moving forward? All right. Whew, that is too many. Thank you, though. Self-care cards for pile number 3. One more, please. Okay. Oh, that's 2 more. This one. Okay. Fascinating. And you, pile number 3, have gotten the blank card. This is my favorite, actually. But let's start from the beginning. So you have candles. This could be hearing candlelit dinner for some of you. Perhaps that ties back to the red dress we had earlier. But also I'm seeing like those fancy candlelit nights with a bathtub where you put in the bath bomb and you have like the tray with a book and a glass of wine and some candles going. Truly like a pampered self-care spa day, spa night vibes for you. That will be very good for you. And then we have the blank card. And I love this one because this means it's either something you're already doing, which would mean keep doing what you're already doing for self-care, or this is something you've thought of recently where you're like, oh, I want to try that. I really think that might be good for me. And this card is encouraging you to go after it, go get it. That will be for you. This is the you already know card, and I love that. And then finally, you have connect. So hop on the phone to talk to someone. Perhaps this is you planning all of this, and maybe that's why you need these wonderful nighttime baths and dinners to really get some time for yourself. But also, I'm hearing very strongly for you, pile number 3, delegation. Delegate, pile number 3. It will help. Absolutely. Delegate. Let's take one last look at your painting and see if any more messages have come up. I'm seeing like a lipstick tube here, again with makeup. I'm seeing a skyline here. Perhaps you're having like a fancy rooftop dinner in the city. I'm also seeing right here a shark. Perhaps the person we talked about earlier, the one that was intimidated by you and tried to destroy what you were working on, perhaps they're still in your life. Maybe they're in your social circle, kind of lurking, being a nuisance. But at the end of the day, pile number 3, that's all they are at the end of the day. Right now it feels like they're this big shark, but you have the whole ocean, pile number 3. You have this vision and you are going to move forward with your life. Well, they are just going to sit there and be this nagging little shark. That's it. Alright, pile number 3. That is what I'm seeing for you. You are going to do amazing things, pile number 3. Thank you so much, truly. Whatever you've been thinking of recently for self-care, do it. This is your reminder, this is your permission slip, this is your gentle nudge to just go. Do it. Whatever it was that you've been thinking about, go do it. Take some time to unplug and relax and just truly feel luxurious, and also delegate. That's a really big one for you, pile number 3. I know that you like sort of being in control, but truly you don't need to be. You have all of these other branches, all of these other people that believe in the same things you do and that are willing to rise to the challenge and help. Alright, pile number 3, that is your reading. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this reading, please give a like. If you feel called to, subscribe. And don't worry about this shark, pile number 3. Long term, they're just nothing. It hurts, but they're nothing. Alright. I will see you in the next one. Bye.